You know that feeling on a huge project where everyone's working super hard, but nothing ever seems to connect? Where progress just feels chaotic and slow? Well, that is the classic challenge of trying to scale Agile. So today, we're going to explore the solution that's totally changed how big organizations deliver value, the Agile Release Train. But hey, before we can talk about the solution, we've really got to understand the problem. In so many large companies, teams are grouped by their job function, right? You've got your developers in one corner, testers in another, and on and on. This creates what we call functional silos. And what happens? Work gets passed from one silo to the next, creating these massive bottlenecks, frustrating delays, and just a ton of miscommunication. And this slide just shows the difference so perfectly. I mean, look at this. On the left, you've got the world of silos, endless handoffs, those killer delays, and teams that just are not on the same page. But on the right, that's the dream. Cross-functional teams working together, value flowing fast, real collaboration, and goals that everybody shares. The Agile Release Train, well, that's the vehicle that gets you from the left side of the screen to the right. So let's pull back the curtain on our solution. The Agile Release Train, or ART for short, is really the organizational heart of the Scaled Agile Framework, or SAFe. And the key thing to get is that this is not some temporary project team. It's a long-term, stable team of teams that's designed from the ground up for continuous value delivery. So here's the official definition, but the words I really want you to focus on are long-lived. See, this isn't a group you just throw together for a few months. The idea is you bring all the people you need to deliver a solution together, and you keep them together so they can build up that mastery and speed over time. And to give you a sense of scale, we're typically talking about 50 to 125 people on one of these trains. Now, that number isn't random. It's based on something called Dunbar's number, this idea that there's a limit to how many people we can really maintain stable relationships with. It's kind of the sweet spot, big enough to build something really significant, but small enough that people can actually stay aligned. I love this quote from Stephen Bungay because it just perfectly nails the philosophy of the ART. This is not about command and control. No way. It's about creating such a powerful, shared alignment on the vision and the goals that you can then give teams the freedom, the autonomy, to figure out the best way to get there. Alignment actually makes autonomy possible. Okay, so who are these 50 to 125 people? Well, an ART is a truly cross-functional organization, and it's got several key roles that are absolutely essential for keeping the train moving in the right direction and, on schedule. The real power of the train, its horsepower, comes from the engine, the agile teams. These are your cross-functional squads of developers, testers, product owners, all the specialists who are actually building, testing, and delivering the solution. They are the heart and soul of the entire ART. But, of course, an engine needs direction, and that's where the key leadership roles come into play. These are the folks who provide the overall guidance, the architectural vision, and the process support for the entire train. They're the conductors. Now, what's really cool here is how these three roles create this perfect balance of power. You've got product management, who's totally focused on the what is the business value, what is the customer need. Then you have the system architect, focused on the how, the technical runway, and making sure it's all built soundly. And then you have the release train engineer, or RTE. They're the ultimate servant leader, the chief facilitator, who makes sure the whole process runs smoothly for everybody. And of course, it takes a village, right? You've got other critical players too. Shared services for those specialized skills like security or legal, epic owners who guide those massive cross-cutting projects, a system team that keeps all the development tools humming, and, maybe most importantly, the customers themselves who are plugged in at every key moment. Okay, so we've got the people. We know who's on the train. But how in the world do you get up to 125 people all marching to the beat of the same drum? Well, the magic isn't just in the roles, it's in the rhythm that synchronizes everyone. This quote right here, this gets to the absolute core of the problem that RTs are designed to solve. You can have 10 amazing Agile teams all sprinting like crazy, but if they're not integrating their work together constantly, the system as a whole isn't actually moving forward. You just have a bunch of fast-moving parts, not a working product. So the solution is cadence and synchronization. Cadence provides a predictable rhythm. It's like a heartbeat for the entire system. And then synchronization aligns everybody to that beat. This ensures the whole product is iterating together, not just the individual teams in their own little bubbles. This timeline shows you the ART's master clock, the planning interval, or PI. Think of it as a big container for work, usually 8 to 12 weeks long. every single PI kicks off with a massive 2-day all-hands-on-deck planning event. From there, the teams execute the plan in a series of iterations, and they show their integrated progress in regular system demos. The PI then wraps up with a special iteration for innovation before the huge Inspect and Adapt workshop, where the entire train figures out how to get better for the next PI. So now we know who's on the train and how it operates. Let's dig into the purpose. What is every single Agile release train ultimately responsible for doing? What's the point of the whole journey? You can really break down an art's responsibilities into these 5 connected areas. It's a continuous cycle, you see. You connect with your customer to figure out what they need, you plan the work to meet those needs, you deliver that value, you get feedback on what you delivered, and then you relentlessly improve every single part of the process. And then you do it all over again. First up, it all begins and ends with the customer. This isn't just about sending surveys. It's about deep empathy and bringing customers directly into the process to make absolutely sure you're not building the wrong thing. Okay, with that deep customer understanding, the ART has to be incredible at planning. That big PI planning event we talked about, that's the secret sauce. It's the mechanism that aligns every single person on the train to the company's most important goals for the next few months. Now, a great plan is useless without great execution, and RT is built for flow. It's all about frequently integrating everyone's work, automating testing, and building out a continuous delivery pipeline so you can release value to customers whenever the business needs it. As soon as that value is delivered, the learning cycle kicks into high gear. Look, true agility isn't just about moving fast. It's about learning fast. The ART is constantly looking for feedback on business outcomes and the user experience so it can adapt based on real data, not just guesses. And all of that learning fuels the final, crucial step, relentless improvement. A great ART is never satisfied. That Inspect and Adapt event at the end of the PI is where lessons learned are turned into concrete actions, making the entire system smarter and more effective for the next cycle. So, to wrap this all up, what are the big takeaways? Remember, an Agile Release Train is a dedicated, cross-functional team of teams, usually between 50 and 125 people. Its real power comes from aligning everyone to a common vision. It operates on that shared heartbeat called a planning interval, and its ultimate goal, its entire reason for being, is to deliver a continuous flow of value to the customer. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When you look at the way your organization works, what do you see? Do you see a collection of disconnected, siloed teams with slow handoffs and lots of confusion? Or do you see a unified, synchronized train with everyone on board, all heading toward the same destination?